I'm John Valentino with John & Bob's, and we're here at a residential garden that is a great demonstration garden for all the benefits of John & Bob's products. This was a garden that was prior to John & Bob's being used, was using all synthetic products, and their goal is to maximize bloom. So one of the real advantages of using John & Bob's products is when you maximize soil health, you maximize yield and bloom. You can use synthetic products, which they were doing with some success, but the result of that, when you use more and more synthetic products, is because of the salt in the synthetic products, you damage the soil. And when you damage the soil, then everything is more subject to pest and disease. And in order to manage the pests and diseases that they were getting, every year they had to use more and more fungicide, they were using Subdue, and more pesticide / insecticide. They were using mostly Merit. So as you damage the soil, you feed the plants directly and they grow and bloom like crazy, but you're not relying on the soil, you're just relying on the nutrients in the synthetic fertilizer, which is damaging the soil while it feeds the plants. So the whole new concept here, which is the concept of organic gardening, where you feed the soil and allow it to maximize the health of the plants and the ability of plants to resist pest and disease. And the reason that they can resist pest and disease is because the most powerful factor in pest and disease suppression is life in the soil. All the beneficial bacteria, fungi, protozoa, good nematodes, those guys are working underground to make sure, with all kinds of interesting methods, that pests and diseases are discouraged or sometimes killed. They can even make it so plants can produce their own pesticide. In this garden, we've had dramatic results, going from every year a bigger budget for Subdue and Merit to a garden that uses none of those now and is 100% on heavy applications of our blend, which is a combination of Optimize, Maximize, and Nourish Biosol, and Penetrate in spots, and then some, not a lot, but some use of our organic pesticides, the EnviroRepel 40 and those products. The other thing that's interesting in this garden is it's an owner that likes to grow almost every flower he can think of, and some of them aren't well suited to this climate. So we'll show you a few plants that are really outside of their region for optimal growing, doing very well here with the use of the blend and selectively penetrate here and there. We're looking at peonies, which are very difficult to grow here. Everybody that I talk to wants to grow peonies, but in Fresno that's a difficult proposition. Usually it's not successful. They like more cooler, moister climates. If you're trying to grow anything that maybe is a little difficult to grow, the number one priority should be the health of your soil. And health of your soil is determined by life in the soil. So our products saturate the soil with good microbes, but they're also food for microbes and attractants for microbes. That will allow you to grow things like peonies even where they don't usually grow. So Clematis is difficult for us to grow here too, because it likes kind of soil that's cool and moist and sun on the leaves, and it's hard to have cool, moist soil in Fresno when it's 110 for 2 weeks in a row. So that life in the soil is key to allowing it to retain moisture at its optimum level. Right next to it is a whole stand of rhododendrons. Again, this grows great in the Pacific Northwest because of Pacific Northwest weather. Not so good in hot inland valleys in California like we are here in Fresno. But we're able to successfully grow plants outside of their region and zone by, again, making the soil as healthy as possible and focusing on soil health, which then takes care of almost everything else. So roses grow great here. Everyone's goal is to maximize the bloom, and the way you maximize the bloom is the way you maximize the vitality of any plant, again, through the soil. And we've found through a lot of experimentation and working with some different rose societies, that our blend is the best way to feed roses, and you would do that either once or twice per year, depending on your preference. And it's just an easy topical application. You can scratch it into the ground a little bit, but that's not entirely necessary. And then you'll see tremendous bloom when the soil is healthy, and that's really the key to allowing roses to bloom and minimizing any kind of aphid or mildew or any type of problems, pest and disease problems on roses. The turf is another example, difficult to grow, successful cool season turf in Fresno. Significant problems with the synthetic fertilizers damaging the soil to a degree where every single season they would have fungus, and fungus that makes the lawn look terrible in the summer. The problem with fungus in these fairly warm parts of the country is usually when you get it once, if then you use a fungicide, you kill all of the bad fungi that's causing these brown spots, but you also kill the good fungi, which is your only hope next year to control the bad fungi, unless you resort to a fungicide again, which again kills everything in the soil. So we went off of that protocol and we moved to a protocol where we're encouraging the growth of good fungi, and don't use a fungicide, otherwise it'll kill that good fungi. And so every year when it gets hot, we employ those good fungi. Good fungi are way stronger than bad fungi, so those will eat the bad fungi. That's how you grow healthy lawn, even in cool season grass in hot inland areas, without having a fungus problem. So the result here is better bloom than ever and better health than ever without chemicals at all.